Time for Cardinals Cubs. It is Matthew Liberatore on the mound for the Cardinals. He has 4 pitching run value, an above average expected ERA, very low walk rate, which has helped him a ton. The ERA is up at 4.08, which is a little high for a starter, but the whip at 1.16 is fantastic. And this low walk rate with the defense behind him is a great thing to have. In his history against this Cubs team, Ian Happ has got him for a homer on 2 at-bats, so that's a 2.7 OPS. That's insane. But outside of that, only 1 above-average hitter, and that is Seiya Suzuki. Nico Horner's been above average as well, but it's just a 1 for 4, so it's not really what you'd expect. Like, it's basically exactly what you'd expect from the average hitter. And it is Ian Happ leading off, so starts out difficult. It'll get easier for Matthew Liberatore. Cardinals bring in their best lineup this year. It's their standard lineup. It does have Burleson in right field instead of Walker, but that's the expectation as of recent. So the infield is Wynn at short, Donovan at second, Arenado at third, and Contreras at first. DH is Nolan Gorman today. And it is Nootbaar in left with Scott in center, Burleson in right. Here's the first pitch. Swing and a miss on a sinker against Happ, and it's 0-1. So we are underway in the greatest rivalry in sports. One of the most important games of the year so far. Here's the 0-1 from Liberatore to Happ. Upstairs, 1-1. Ian Happ hitting .249 this year, a .760 OPS with 11 home runs. Pedro Pajes is behind the plate for the Cardinals today. He'll be calling the game, the 1-1. Chopped over to short. Mason Wynn on the run. Makes the throw for out number 1, and Liberatore has the first out of the game. Happ is the guy who's hit him the best in the Cubs lineup, so it's great to get that first out early on. If you look at the Cubs lineup today, Tucker's playing right field, Happ in left, Pete Crow Armstrong in center. You have Carson Kelly behind the plate. He's a former Cardinal. Seiya Suzuki at DH. And the infield has Turner, Swanson, Horner, and Shaw. The first pitch to Tucker is a ground ball to second. Easy play for Donovan. And that's out number 2. So Tucker chases the first pitch. And can't go anywhere with that. So 2 down in the first. That'll bring up Seiya Suzuki. Suzuki is hitting .256 this year with an .851 OPS. He's been their second best hitter, Tucker being the first. And we'll see if he can do anything against Liberatore in this first inning. The first pitch. Driven high in the air to right center field. Victor Scott on the run. He'll make the grab at the warning track. And Liberatore has a 1-2-3 first inning. Great job by Scott getting a good jump on that one. We go to the bottom of the first. Still scoreless. Donovan, Wynn, and Burleson. All right, so that was a very fast inning, only like 5 pitches. So we can quickly move over to Ben Brown. We don't have too much on Brown. Just a 1.48 whip, 5.57 ERA. -6 pitching run value. I mean, he hasn't been very good. He really wasn't very good in the minors either, so last year seems like an anomaly. I mean, these are good peripheral numbers. Low walk rate, high strikeout rate. Gets a lot of ground balls. But the balls are hit pretty hard, it looks like. And a lot of barrels, so that's going to eventually add up against him. Did he have barrels last year? Yes, he did. So hard hit baseballs and barrels are just part of his game. He actually didn't have as good of a ground ball rate last year, so the 3.58, there's no way that holds up. This seems to make more sense to me. And if we go to his minor league numbers, which should be listed here, AAA is last season in the minor leagues. He had a 5.33 ERA, so Ben Brown is nothing consistent. So I wouldn't expect a great year out of him as a starter. He's had 13 starts this year, 5.57 ERA. He's somewhat like Miles Michaelis in that he'll be able to put it in the zone, but he can get hit really hard, so if those hard hit balls add up, he's going to have really bad starts, and those are going to balloon that ERA up. So at 25, he could still get better, but that's the way I'm seeing it. So here we go. He is back on the mound. Let's get it started. He just has a four-seam, a knuckle curve, and a changeup that he uses just 4% of the time, so it's mostly fastball and curveball. The first pitch to Donovan is grounded over to first base, and that is out number one already. An easy play there for Justin Turner. So Donovan is 0 for 1 on just one pitch. It's going to bring up Mason Wynn. Wynn is hitting .255 this year with a .701 OPS. Guy who hits a lot of singles. You don't blame Donovan for just swinging. Looks like the key to the game, according to Brad Thompson, is to keep the ball in the air. So maybe avoid ground balls, hit the ball hard. I could see that. Here's the first pitch to Wynn. It is in there right down the middle for a strike. 0-1. I think you just have to look for your pitch and drive it. You're not going to expect to walk against this guy. Here's the 0-1. Another fastball right down the middle. Mason Wynn has taken the first two pitches. It's 0-2. He's going to go ahead and call time. Ben Brown's had a really bad first inning this year, a 9.69 ERA in the first inning. So we'll see if Wynn can catch up to him here and start out a rough inning. Great, what happened? Okay, so it looks like he didn't. It was a strikeout of Wynn. And the first pitch to Burleson is driven out to center field. Pete Crow Armstrong is there to make the grab. And Ben Brown has a 6-pitch 1-2-3 inning. So each of the starters making quick work of the opposing team in the first. We go to the second, still scoreless. So that was strange. The broadcast is not staying the way I like it, but that's okay. All right, let's see what the Cubs have due up. It's going to be Swanson, Crow Armstrong, and Kelly. So I'll switch back over. We'll take a look at what Swanson's been doing this year. 721 OPS, he's about average. Pretty good contact numbers, but he strikes out a lot and doesn't walk enough to make up for it. So that puts him about league average. We could check out Crow Armstrong as well, because he's a huge topic of conversation. Great defensive player. Is that not a... Oh, it's just Crow like this. Yeah. All right, 866 OPS. I mean, wow. He's having a great year. Still striking out a good amount and not walking. But the expected slug is really, really high, so he must be... Yeah, the launch angle's great. That makes sense. Yep. If you always have a good launch angle, that'll add up. In the slugging, you're going to put it in the gap, and then he has the speed as well, so he can turn any of those gap baseballs into extra bases. That's how he builds that slug. Takes the OPS way above average, despite striking out a good amount and not walking very much. If we look at the defense is great. Does he steal bases? 23. Wow. Yeah, you can see the superstar ability there. Liberatore back on the mound. Let's get back to the game. All right, Dansby Swanson at the plate. Here is the first pitch of the top of the second. Sorry, Dansby still digging in. Here we go. Liberatore delivers. Right down the middle with the slider. It's 0-1. Liberatore likely to have his longest season of his career this year. He's at 80 innings pitched already. His career high before this was just 86 as Dansby fouls off a changeup. It's 0-2. Swanson has a 721 OPS this year, 241 average. He is just striking out a little bit too much. Still has some good power, 14 home runs on the year. Pretty good contact numbers across the board, but just too high of a strikeout rate, as here's the 0-2 from Liberatore. Way upstairs with the fastball, 1-2. So we'll see if Liberatore can demonstrate that strikeout rate here. The 1-2 pitch to Dansby Swanson. Swing and a miss. He chases the curveball below the zone and strikes out once again. So down goes Dansby. It's going to bring up Pete Crow Armstrong. Crow Armstrong hitting .269 with an .866 OPS. He has broken out this year as a superstar caliber player, playing a fantastic center field, stealing 23 bases already. As he takes strike one on the outside corner, it's 0-1. The expected slug is great for him, so he has a consistently good launch angle. The real slug is staying consistent with that as well. Here's the 0-1. Misses low and away with the cutter, 1-1. He does have 21 homers already this year, as he has something in his eye, so he had to step out. It's a little bit strange. And it is really hot outside, so who knows what's in the air. Here is the 1-1 pitch from Liberatore to Crow Armstrong. Check swing, yes he did, on a slider way below the zone, 1-2. He already has 61 RBIs, and it is the middle of June. The 1-2 pitch here to Crow Armstrong. Swing and a miss on a sinker well above the zone. Crow Armstrong strikes out as well. It has been 5 up, 5 down for the Cubs so far. Great start from Liberatore. Liberatore with back-to-back strikeouts to start this second inning. Here comes Carson Kelly. Kelly's been good this year as well. First pitch from Liberatore. Missed low and in with the curveball, 1-0. Kelly with an .817 OPS. He has 9 bombs as well. Started out incredibly hot at the catcher position. Here's the 1-0. Driven up the middle. That's a base hit. And the first base runner of the game. Carson Kelly with a single. That's going to bring up Nico Horner. The All-Star game coming up pretty soon. Be sure to fill out your ballot. Don't forget Brendan Donovan at second base. As here is Nico Horner, the second baseman of the Cubs. He's hitting .284 this year, but just a .678 OPS. Swing and a miss on a fastball at the top of the zone. It's 0-1. Horner is yet to hit a home run this year. He doesn't have a whole lot in his career. 31 runs driven in this year for Horner, but he plays a good defensive second base and has a high average. Here's the 0-1. In the dirt with the curveball, 1-1. So 2 outs, 1 man on. It is the second inning of a scoreless game in St. Louis. Horner being a high average guy, you just want to paint the corners. The 1-1 pitch right down the middle, but Donovan is there to flip it to win for out number 3. So we will go to the bottom of the second, still scoreless in St. Louis. Contreras, Nootbaar, Arenado. So far, this has just been a pitcher's duel, which is not exactly what everyone might have expected. But we're early. Just the 1 hit. We'll see if the Cardinals can start to open it up here. Contreras is like the #1 story of the way the strikeout can pull your numbers down. Just a .738 OPS, but all of his contact numbers are fantastic. You can see this bear out last year as well. Struck out a ton. So the 848 OPS, despite all of this, and I mean, the expected batting average is only this low because batting average factors in your strikeouts. So it is what it is. I don't know, expected batting average might only be on contacted baseballs, but I don't think that works like that. I think the strikeouts still pull it down. Because 258 wouldn't be only on his contact, because he hits the ball hard. His launch angle isn't perfect, but that'll pull it down. Either way, he had a really rough start to the year. He's been fantastic since that point, so that's another thing. Is this 738 isn't representative of what he's been since those first 2 weeks. So Contreras, obviously a great player. You have Contreras, Nootbaar, Arenado. Nootbaar has had a terrible last month or so. Like, the beginning of the year was fantastic. Hitting the ball really hard all year. But all of these numbers getting pulled down. He's striking out a little bit more than average across the league. Still a really good player. But 706 OPS just doesn't feel representative of what he's done for the majority of the season. But that's the thing, is he's really never been consistent. He either gets injured or starts to get inconsistent as the season goes on. So you get what you get with him. As the game is back, so let's get back to it. Ben Brown on the mound, bottom of the second inning. Here's the first pitch to Contreras. Right down the middle with 96, fouled back, it's 0-1. Whoops. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Contreras. Up and in, fouled back, 0-2. The 0-2 pitch is way outside with the curveball, 1-2. Contreras has 10 home runs this year, a 738 OPS. That number's been climbing since his slow start. 50 RBIs as well. Trying to get things going for the Redbirds in a huge series here. The 1-2 pitch from Brown. Way outside with the fastball, 2-2. Contreras has been a pretty good defensive first baseman. That's something to note since that move over to first. The 2-2 pitch. Curveball up and in. Does not come back down. It's 3-2. Lars Nootbaar waiting on deck. Nobody on, nobody out in the second. Still 0-0 in this inning. The 3-2. Nice curveball, catches the upper inside corner for strike 3. Contreras wanted that one to be called a ball, but it did catch the top of the zone. Great pitch from Brown for strike 3. So 1 out, and that's going to bring up Lars Nootbaar. First pitch to Newt is outside, 1-0. Nootbaar hitting .229 this year with a 706 OPS. He's had a cold streak recently, but he's started to heat up over the last few games. Did have a huge home run against the White Sox. As here he drives one into center field. Easy play for Crow Armstrong. And he'll make the grab for out number 2. So first pitch swinging for Nootbaar did not work out. Well, I guess that was the second pitch, but first one in the zone. And here comes Arenado. Nolan Arenado with a 714 OPS on the season so far. Has 9 home runs and 31 runs batted in. But he does have a 925 OPS in his last 16 games. As he takes strike 1 at the bottom of the zone, it's 0-1. So Ben Brown having a pretty good start to the game so far. We'll see if the Cardinals can get their first base runner in Arenado. The 0-1 is another fastball in the zone. 0-2. Brown is really attacking the zone. He's putting these pitches right where he wants them, which is really impressive with just the curveball and fastball for the most part. The 0-2. Curveball right down the middle, popped into right field, and that one is going to drop into fair territory for a base hit. Arenado gets caught up between first and second and thrown out. However, so Arenado with a bad decision on the base paths, and we'll go to the third. It's still 0-0. So I guess that's a hit for Arenado, but no real result there. Definitely not what you're looking for. So Turner, Shaw, and Happ will be due up in the third. Turner is 40 years old with just a 551 OPS this year. A little bit curious why he's still getting at-bats. I mean, he was about average last year. He walks a lot. Did he walk a lot last year? Yeah. I guess he could get on base in that way. He had a 354 on base last season. Just a 296 on base this year, so we see the batting run value. Yeah, it's dropped by 10 over the course of the year. OPS is really low. He's just not making good contact. Still has a good launch angle, though. Was that the case last year? Yeah. So, I mean, if you give him more run, I think he could continue to do well, even at 40 years old. It's just a little bit risky at his age. It might never come back. So, he'll be done soon. He is 40. Just looking to win one at the end of his career. I understand that. Let's see. Matt Shaw, third baseman. He was a prospect coming into the year, the #1 Cubs prospect. He's been below average this year. Not great defensively. He walks a little bit above average, strikes out just a little below average. Decent launch angle. I think that launch angle is the #1 thing that can really develop you. It's a really good stat right here to show that he may improve. But a lot of stuff, I mean, the exit velocity has to get better than this. So we'll see what the quality of contact looks like when he gets to hit here as the game is back. So it's 0-2 on Turner, my bad. Might need to adjust this just one more time. All right, that looks perfect. Here's the 0-2 to Turner. Puts it in the dirt, 1-2. So Liberatore at 21 pitches so far. It is the third inning, so he's been efficient. Just Arenado and Carson Kelly have a hit in this one. As the 1-2 pitch goes up the middle, Donovan is there and makes the play to first. So 1 out in the third, and that will bring up Matt Shaw. So if we look at Matt Shaw, he's hitting just .222 with a .613 OPS. Just slightly above average in the walk rate, slightly below average on the strikeouts. Good launch angle, but the contact has been incredibly soft from Matt Shaw so far. Might think about increasing his bat speed if he wants to improve. The first pitch pulled right at Arenado for an out, and there's 2 down now in the third. Third baseman gets the other third baseman there. It was a hard hit ball from Shaw that time. Can't complain about the quality of contact there, but it was just right at the platinum glover in Arenado. So nothing you can do about that. 2 outs. Here comes Ian Happ for his second at-bat of the game. First pitch. Low and in with the cutter, 1-0. Liberatore's 25th pitch now, the 1-0 pitch to Hap. Swing and a miss on a slider just below the zone. It's 1-1. Hap does have 11 home runs on the year, and a good history against Liberatore. He's now 1 for 3 in his career against Liberatore with a homer. The 1-1 pitch here in the third. Way up and away with the fastball, 2-1. So one time through the order for Liberatore, he gave up just one hit. That was to Carson Kelly. Looking to keep us scoreless in this third inning. The 2-1 pitch now to Hap. He's up and away again, 3-1. Hap hitting just 118 against elevated fastballs this year. 6th worst in the National League compared to the league average at 229. The 3-1 pitch. Swing and a miss on a changeup. It's 3-2. Hap has been pretty good against the Cardinals in his career. He was out ahead of that changeup. They just showed the replay. 26 home runs against the Redbirds. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Fouled back, and we'll have to do it again. So good at-bat from Hap. Kyle Tucker is waiting on deck. Here's the 3-2 once again to Hap. Swing and a miss on a cutter low and in. Down goes Hap. We go to the bottom of the third. It is still scoreless in St. Louis. We'll see if the Redbirds can get to Ben Brown. It'll be Gorman, Pajes, and Scott. All right, so pull up Gorman. 683 OPS this season. The walk rate, the best of his career. Strikeout rate, the lowest of his career, although it's still up at 28.8%. Barrel rate is above league average, just barely. Doesn't have a super high sample this season, but he's starting to heat up. You can see it. That's why he's earned that DH spot for this game. But if you compare 2023 to 2024, you can see where the struggles began. They really began in 2023. He was already striking out 31.9% of the time, but he was getting walked due to the threat of this contact quality, and then he just lost the ability to make contact in general. He became the most struck out person in the majors, I guess is how you'd say it. The highest strikeout rate, 37.6%, the highest qualified strikeout rate at least. Also had a great barrel rate, but those 19 home runs aren't worth it if you're going to get on base, at a 271 clip. So that ended up hurting him. He spent some time in the minors, got that strikeout rate down to 28.8, walk rate a lot better. Now he just needs to get that contact back. So we'll see if he can get there. Pajes, a great defensive catcher. And then you have Victor Scott II. If you look at Scott, great defensive player, 9 outs above average in center field, also has a good launch angle, and walks a good amount. So 331 on base, will steal bases for you, 21 already, and play a great defense. So, a lot of the time he's going to be bunting. As Gorman fouls back the first pitch, and the game is back. So it's 0-1 from Ben Brown to Nolan Gorman. I might be behind a pitch or two, so I can speed this up a little. The 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss on a fastball up and away. It's 0-2. So Gorman behind in the count. The Cubs are playing him to pull as usual. The 0-2 pitch is way upstairs with a fastball, 1-2. And now here is the 1-2 to Gorman. Swing and a miss. He does strike out once again. That was a curveball low and in. So that is out number 1 of the third. The Cardinals only have 1 hit, and it was from Arenado before he got thrown out on the base paths. So that's going to bring up Pedro Pajes, the catcher of the Cardinals. First pitch, swing and a miss on a fastball way above the zone. It's 0-1. Pajas hitting just 219 with a 621 OPS. This is one of those games that you kind of expect the Cardinals to win with the better starter, so getting into a pitcher's duel is not really what you want to do. But I don't know if this part of the lineup is going to be the one to start the rally. We'll see if Pajas gets it started here. Might just have to do it the second time through. So here is the 1-1 pitch to Pajas from Brown. Right down the middle, driven out to left. Easy play for Happ, who eventually settles under it and makes the grab for out number 2. So 2 outs with nobody on. That's going to bring up Victor Scott. Victor Scott II is hitting 241 this year with a 657 OPS. This will be his first at-bat of the game before we wrap back around to the top of the order. First pitch from Brown. Right down the middle, pulled for a base hit. It gets past the second baseman, Horner, for the first hit of the game for Victor Scott. So he reaches base. We go to the back to the top of the order with Brendan Donovan, and he's definitely a threat to steal in this situation. That was just a fastball right down the middle. He just turned on it, hit it into the ground really hard. Just a little bit too hard hit for Horner to catch up with. So 1 man on with 2 outs. Here's the first pitch to Donovan. They go up and away. Cannot throw out Scott. So he swipes second base, just as we expected, and now a base hit would score a run for the Cardinals. That is his 22nd stolen base on 23 attempts. The fastest man in baseball. Maybe 1 man is faster, according to Baseball Savant. Second fastest man in baseball gets another stolen base there. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Donovan. Low and in with the curveball, 1-1. Donovan hitting .307 this year. The Cubs are playing him to pull, but there is a little bit of a hole up the middle. Here's the 1-1 pitch from Brown. Right down the middle, fouled back. It's 1-2. Oh yeah, I gotta mute that. Discord. My bad. The 1-2 pitch now from Brown to Donovan. Goes down and pops this one into center field. That's going to be playable. And Crow Armstrong makes the grab. So we'll go to the 4th. It is still scoreless. The Cardinals strand Victor Scott. And we will have Tucker, Seiya, and Dansby. So I'll do a quick switch of this. All right, so you shouldn't have to hear that noise again if you heard that. And here we go. So that's... All right, we'll just bring up Kyle Tucker's Savant because that's a lot of reds. One of the better players in baseball. .920 OPS, 98th percentile in the batting run value. Great contact across the board, barrels it up, great launch angle, hits the ball relatively hard. Also walks a ton, doesn't strike out much. He walks more than he strikes out. Not a perfect outfielder, but it doesn't matter. He hits the ball plenty. Well enough. Out in right field. So there's Kyle Tucker. Trying to think if there's anything we should be looking at right now. I mean, has Liberatore faced Tucker? He has not, so this will be the first. I mean, he faced him earlier this game, obviously. Tucker, a huge acquisition for the Cubs coming into the year. The Astros decided to move on from him, probably because they couldn't afford to pay him, so that makes a lot of sense. But just such a good player to acquire. The rest of the league is lucky they got rid of Bellinger. Especially our division. All right, the game is back. Here we go. Kyle Tucker's in the box. The first pitch from Liberatore is at the top of the zone, popped up into shallow left. Mason Wynn drifts out and makes the grab for out number 1. So nobody on, 1 out in the 4th. That's going to bring up Seiya Suzuki. Liberatore's been fantastic so far today. Just a 1 hit allowed to Carson Kelly. Just 31 pitches through 3 1/3. First pitch to Seiya is going to catch the top of the zone with the fastball. It's 0-1. The 0-1 pitch is a curveball catching the top of the zone once again. It's 0-2. So 2 good pitches from Liberatore there. First one was up and in. The second one was up and away. So we'll see how they attack Seiya here. The 0-2 pitch. Down and in with the curveball. He fouls that one off his foot. Still 0-2. Seiya does have 20 home runs on the year already. Hitting .255. So 1 out, nobody on. The 0-2 pitch from Matthew Liberatore to Seiya Suzuki. Way upstairs with the sinker, 1-2. Still scoreless. It is the 4th inning of the first game in a big rivalry series. The 1-2 pitch to Seiya. Right down the middle with the slider. He got him. So down goes Suzuki. He expected Liberatore to attack him up again. Instead, Liberatore drops the slider on him, and he swings over that one. So down goes Suzuki, 2 outs. And that will bring up Dansby Swanson. Swanson just has a really high strikeout rate. He has already struck out in the game as well. First pitch. He is up and away with the changeup, 1-0. Liberatore already has 4 strikeouts on the day. In this 4th inning, here's the 1-0 pitch to Swanson. Right down the middle with the changeup. Gets a swing and a miss, 1-1. Dansby, a former Brave. The Braves lead the Mets 3-0 over in New York. The 1-1 pitch now to Swanson. Way upstairs with the fastball, 2-1. Liberatore about to throw his 40th pitch of the game. He's on pace for a Maddox if he can keep this pace up. 2-1 pitch now to Swanson. Popped up. Playable in right field for Burleson, who will make the grab. So a fantastic start to the game for Liberatore. He's through 4 scoreless. We go to the bottom half. It's still 0-0. So who do we have for the Cardinals? It's going to be Wynn, Burleson, Contreras. This is a real big opportunity. Hopefully they can get going. I'm going to go back to Ben Brown. Is there something we're missing? Like, this should be a guy, I mean, based on the Savant, he's going to attack the zone. Clearly, he can throw strikes. But he gives up hard-hit baseballs, and a lot of them are in the air, according to his history. So how hard is it? I mean, you just have to put the barrel on the ball. At the end of the day, it's just see the ball, hit the ball against this guy. Mason Wynn had a really bad approach his first time up. He took strikes right down the middle. You can see why, though, because Wynn doesn't barrel the ball a lot, and he has a pretty low strikeout rate, so he likes to see more pitches. But that doesn't seem to be the strategy against Ben Brown, so you should probably just take a good swing at the first pitch that you like. All right, I'm going to be, well, I think I'll do this inning. Be right back after the bottom half of this inning. First, we'll do that, though, so let's get back to the game, which should be back in just a second. Yep. All right, Mason Wynn digging in to face Ben Brown. Wynn is 0 for 1 so far today with a strikeout. Swings and misses at the first pitch. It's a curveball at the top of the zone. So Wynn swinging out of his shoes at a curveball up that time, unable to track it correctly. The 0-1 fastball grounded over to short. Easy play for Swanson, who makes the play. So 1 out, and that will bring up Alec Burleson. Burleson has an 806 OPS this year, a 307 average. Him and Donovan amongst the leaders in batting average in the NL, just behind a couple of Dodgers. The first pitch to Burleson, he bunts it, foul down the third base line. So an interesting attempt there. It's 0-1. I mean, he saw something. They were playing it really far off that third base line. He probably could have bunted for a hit there if he got a better angle on it. But that is okay. It's foul. Here's the 0-1 from Brown. Popped foul. That one will get out of play. It's 0-2. So Brown has been just as efficient as Liberatore. He's given up one more hit, but Arenado turned it into an out. So Brown's only thrown 32 pitches this game, 25 strikes, and just 7 balls. The 0-2. Low and in that time with the curveball, 1-2. The 1-2 pitch. Right down the middle, pulled, just foul. Still 1-2. Burleson is 0 for 1. He had a fly out back in the first inning. The 1-2 pitch again is up and away, 2-2. Burleson seems like one of the better hitters to match up with Brown. He can make the at-bat longer and put good contact on a pitch. The 2-2. Chopped the other way. That's going to be an easy play at third for Shaw. He makes the throw for out number 2. And that will bring up Wilson Contreras. Cardinals really struggling to get anything going against Ben Brown, who is having an incredible start against all odds, in my opinion. Cardinals failing to barrel him up. First pitch fastball right down the middle to Contreras for a strike. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Ben Brown. Perfectly placed up and away. The umpire actually looked away and called it a ball. That was really strange. He didn't even track the pitch. So here's the 1-1 to Contreras. Right down the middle for a strike. That is strike 2, so it's 1-2. Contreras is 0 for 1 in the game. He had a strikeout back in the second inning. Looking to become the first base runner for the Cardinals in this fourth inning. Here's the 1-2 from Brown. The 40th pitch for him in the game. Fouled off. Still 1-2. Contreras has the third most home runs on breaking balls down in the zone in baseball, with 4 home runs on those pitches. Pitch number 41 from Ben Brown. Outside with the curveball, 2-2. So Brown also on pace for a Maddox. The 2-2 pitch to Contreras. He goes down and lofts that one into left center. That one's going to roll past Crow Armstrong for extra bases, and Contreras will turn that one into a double. Cardinals have a man on second with 2 outs in the 4th. So the Cardinals are finally in business. It's going to be Lars Nootbaar hitting next. This was just a hanging slider over the middle of the plate. I guess it's a curveball from Brown. The screen just went black, so I'm just calling this from memory. Here we go. It was a hanging curveball over the bottom of the zone. Contreras was able to duck down, put the barrel on it, and scorch it into that left center gap. It hit the ground early, but it was moving quick enough that it bounced past the outfielders and allowed Contreras to advance to second. So with Contreras on second and 2 outs, here is the first pitch to Nootbaar. Missed downstairs with the fastball. It's 1-0. Huge opportunity for Nootbaar here. Contreras on second and 2 outs. Nootbaar does have 9 home runs on the year. The 1-0 pitch is in the dirt. 2-0. Nootbaar was amongst the league leaders in walk rate early in the season, but right here you're looking for him to drive the ball. This has been Brown's toughest inning of the game so far. This is going to be his 17th pitch of the inning. The 2-0 to Nootbaar. Up and away. That's a ball. It's 3-0. So you wonder if Brown is trying to pitch around Nootbaar now, as it is Nolan Arenado on deck. With 2 outs here, the 3-0 pitch to Nootbaar is in there for strike 1. Up and away. So it's 3-1 now on Nootbaar. Nootbaar amongst the lowest chase percentage in baseball against curveballs and sliders, so he sees the spin well. Decent hole up the middle of the infield. The 3-1 pitch is taken for a strike on a curveball at the top of the zone, 3-2. So all bets are off now, with Arenado waiting on deck. Here's the 3-2 pitch from Ben Brown to Nootbaar. Driven in the air, right field. Back is Tucker, and that ball is gone. A 2-run home run for Lars Nootbaar puts the Cardinals on top in the 4th. His 10th home run of the season. And Newts are crying out in the stadium. 102 miles an hour off the bat. 2-out homer for Nootbaar. He delivers. That is the stroke we've been waiting for. Inside pitch. Turn the barrel on that. And put the Cardinals on top. And Arenado hits a liner to Shaw at third. He makes an incredible catch, jumping and catching that one. But the Newts are still crying out. The Cardinals lead 2-0. All right, so huge moment for the Cardinals there. Let's go ahead and take a look at who's due up. It's going to be Crow, Armstrong, Kelly, and Horner. Crow Armstrong's been really good. He pulls most of his homers. Did hit one to left center due to the way Wrigley is built. So that's kind of cool. I will be right back. Alrighty. So we'll see if the Cubs have an answer for the Newt Bar homer, as Liberatore has been rolling so far in this one. This game should be back. Yep. All right, there we go. So here is Pete Crow Armstrong. Takes the first pitch up and away with the curveball, 1-0. Armstrong is 0 for 1 so far today, does have a strikeout. Here's the 1-0 from Liberatore. Check swing. No, he did not. It's 2-0. Pitch now from Liberatore to Crow Armstrong. Driven in the air to left center. That one's going to find the gap and skip off the wall. Victor Scott plays it on a hop. Throws it in to win, and that's an easy double for Crow Armstrong. So there is that launch angle that you've been looking at. He slugs a lot. That's his 18th double of the year. He has even more homers with 21. And that was just a foot away from being... well, I guess a couple feet away from being a home run. So Crow Armstrong on second with nobody out. That's going to bring up Carson Kelly. Kelly is 1 for 1 today with a single. So we'll see if Liberatore can pitch his way out of this jam. The first pitch to Kelly. Right down the middle, driven into the left center gap. That's a hit. Crow Armstrong's going to come around to score. And back-to-back singles for Carson Kelly make it 2-1 Cardinals. So Crow Armstrong with a very quick run scored there from the Cubs. And this is a dogfight. Both pitchers get broken in back-to-back half innings. We'll see what Liberatore can do about that. It's going to be Nico Horner next up for the Cubs. Horner is 0 for 1 so far in this one. First pitch from Liberatore. Right down the middle for a strike, 0-1. Horner is hitting .283, but just a .676 OPS. He grounded into a fielder's choice back in the second. Another ground ball might be good for Liberatore here. Liberatore is set. The 0-1 pitch. Driven foul. It's 0-2. Horner hitting .311 with runners on base this year. Does have 31 RBIs in these spots. Cardinals playing a pretty standard infield against him. The 0-2 pitch now from Liberatore. Curveball missed upstairs, 1-2. Horner does have pretty good bat control. That is why you see the infield playing more standard. Don't want to give him any open holes to put the ball into. So here is the 1-2 pitch now from Liberatore. Missed upstairs, 2-2. So Liberatore having his first tough inning of the game. Up at 48 pitches now. Still looking for the first out of the fifth. 2-2 pitch now to Horner. Chopped back up the middle. That one's going to get through for a base hit. And there's two men on with nobody out in the fifth. He was hit a little too hard for any extra advance from Kelly. So it's runners on first and second with nobody out, and that brings up Justin Turner. Turner is not a super fast runner, so you really want to avoid a walk here, but that's easier said than done. Having a quick discussion with Liberatore, making sure he's calm. He's still putting the ball in the zone. Just a couple of hits starting to eat him up. So he'll start the at-bat against Turner with his 50th pitch of the game. Turner is 0 for 1 so far in this game. A ground ball could be huge for the Redbirds here to try to get out of this without any further damage. Turner is at a career 199 home runs, so he's looking for one more. First pitch from Liberatore. Just low and away with the changeup, 1-0. The 1-0 pitch now. He is low and in with the curveball, 1-1. Liberatore now up above 50 pitches. Really tough inning so far from him. He's thrown over 10 pitches in the inning, yet to record an out. The 1-1 now to Turner. Ground ball, right side. Donovan makes a diving stop, but he'll have to go to first, and it moves both runners over. So with a standard alignment, that would have been a double play ball. Instead, Donovan had to dive and stop that one. There was no play at second, but he was able to get the out at first. So with one out and runners at second and third, that will bring up Matt Shaw. Shaw is 0 for 1 today. This is a huge moment in this one. 2 runners in scoring position with one out. It is 2-1 Cardinals in the 5th. First pitch to Shaw. He is low and in with the curveball, 1-0. Defense playing Shaw to pull. Arenado a little bit in to try to make a play at the plate. The 1-0 pitch from Liberatore. Chopped foul off the foot of Shaw. 1-1. Right off the front of the toe right there. Shaw is third in MLB. Sorry, the Cubs are third in MLB at batting average with runners in scoring position this season at .284. See if Liberatore can bring that down a notch here. Misses upstairs with the sinker. It's 2-1. Shaw is 2 for 5 this year with a runner on third and less than 2 outs. He's driven in the run just 2 times on those 5 at-bats. So no sac flies on the year for Shaw. Here's the 2-1 pitch from Liberatore. Upstairs, 3-1. Ian Happ waiting on deck. You really want to throw a strike here. Liberatore steps off, so that's the first disengagement of the at-bat. Steps back on, here we go. The 3-1 pitch to Matt Shaw. Missed up and away with the curveball, and that's ball 4. So Liberatore's pitched himself into a little bit of trouble now. The bases are loaded with one out, and that brings up Ian Happ. One of the guys the Cardinals have least wanted to see over the course of his career. 26 home runs and about 60 RBIs in 110 games against the Cardinals. And Dusty Blake will call time and have a discussion with his pitcher. I mean, here you got to be looking for a ground ball, but Happ is not the guy to get a ground ball against, so a strikeout is another thought process. I think striking him out would make a like that would be the most realistic goal as far as the approach with the pitch sequencing. But if you throw a good sequence against Happ and strike him out, then you still have to face Kyle Tucker. So the most preferable outcomes, obviously the ground ball double play, but I don't think that's a reasonable pitch sequence strategy. So you just go for the strikeout and you hope you can get the out against Tucker with the lefty-lefty advantage. So hopefully that is what the Cardinals are thinking here. Ian Happ batting from the right-hand side here. The first pitch from Liberatore. Ground ball. Third base. Arenado goes to second for one. The turn. They get him. Looks like a double play to end the top of the fifth. Just one run allowed by Liberatore. He gets out of the jam. It is 2-1 Cardinals. Arenado, Donovan, and Contreras. What a play by the infield. 2-1 Cardinals midway through the fifth. So Gorman, Pages, and Scott. It's going to be the bottom of the Cardinal order. Lead it 2-1 after that Newt Bar homer. We'll throw Pages' numbers up. We didn't do that earlier in the game. He's been playing pretty good defense. Hopefully, Liberatore settles down after the end of that inning and settles back in nicely because he was throwing a really efficient game early on. Ended up pitching into some trouble there. I don't think it was walks or anything like that, so I think it was just strategy when he was pitching around the righty at the bottom of the order. There's also a small strike zone there, so hopefully he can get back to throwing strikes and getting some more regular outs as he continues. Ben Brown's been good. He just got hit as well. So this is going to be an interesting strategic couple of innings here because it's a low pitch count for both starters. But they're both starting to get hit a little bit as you go through the order more and more. So interesting game from the starting pitching strategy perspective. We'll see what the managers decide to do. This is the bottom of the Cardinal order. You expect Ben Brown to be able to get through this, but if he gives up a couple of base runners, he could be in for a world of trouble this inning. So that's why you watch the game. Here we go. First pitch from Brown to Gorman. Missed low and away with the fastball, 1-0. Gorman is 0 for 1 with a strikeout today. Starting to see the ball pretty well this season. We'll see if he can pick it up here. The 1-0. Fouls it away. Another fastball at the bottom of the zone. I think that's a dangerous line of pitching to Gorman. Can't keep throwing those fastballs. Eventually he'll catch up and drive one. As here's the third straight fastball at the bottom of the zone. That one popped up to the left side. Happ on the run. Tracks it down and makes the grab for out number 1. That was a nice play by Ian Happ. So with 1 out, that will bring up the Cardinal catcher, Pedro Pages. He is 0 for 1 as well. Does have 5 home runs on the year. Had a couple of big home runs at Wrigley in last season's series. So we'll see if he can pull that magic back out. The first pitch is outside 1-0. That was the curveball. Pages had a fly out back in the third, almost got a hold of one. The 1-0 pitch from Brown, right down the middle for a strike, 1-1. Pages has the lowest OPS in the Cardinal lineup today at just .618 with a .218 average. That being said, a great defensive catcher, and he makes up for all of that and more from the defensive side of the ball. Here's the 1-1 from Brown, right down the middle for a strike, 1-2. I think defensive catching is the least quantifiable impact in baseball because you're calling the game, you're controlling the game. You know, Yachty showed us this over many years. The 1-2 pitch here, just outside with the fastball, 2-2. Big hole in the middle of the infield here. They're playing Pages to either go the other way or pull. The 2-2 pitch, outside 3-2. It's a little bit of an interesting defensive strategy. You wonder if a couple of those base hits to that right side have changed the defensive approach against him. It's not too far of a shift. Like, they're still almost up the middle, playing the righty to pull, but just not entirely. The 3-2 to Pajes is inside, and that's ball 4. So Pajes draws a walk against Brown. That's a tough walk at the bottom of the order. And that brings up Victor Scott II. Scott had a base hit his first time up. He is 1 for 1. Also had a stolen base. They are showing Pete Crow Armstrong as kind of Scott's counterpart, and he is, but he isn't, you know? They're both defensive center fielders who are really fast, but I think the comparison should stop right there. As Scott lofts one out to left field and into the seats for strike 1. So it's 0-1 on Scott, with Pajes on first and 1 out in the 5th. The Cardinals lead this one 2-1. As Ben Brown is about to throw his 60th pitch of the game. And this is the last batter of his second time through the order. Here's the 0-1 pitch now to Scott. Right down the middle, driven in the air to center. Easy play for Crow Armstrong. He makes the catch for out number 2. So Pajes on first. You're probably not going to be stealing a base this time around, with Brendan Donovan at the plate. Donovan's OPS has fallen all the way to 800, which is still well above league average, but below how he had been performing at the start of the year. First pitch to Donovan. Caught the bottom of the zone with the curveball. It's 0-1. Donovan hitting .305 so far this year. Not a lot of power recently. 4 home runs on the season. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Brown. Right down the middle, driven out to right field, high and deep, and gone. Spoke too soon on Donovan. There's some of that power. It is 4-1 Cardinals. 109.4 off the bat, 393 feet. That one is not coming back. So a 2-out homer. Brendan Donovan delivers. And that will bring up Mason Wynn with a 3-run lead for the Cardinals. What a swing by Donovan. You forget he has that in him until he gets that fastball low and in. You know, that left-handed instinct. They turn on those like the back of their hand. And Donovan showed it there. So Mason Wynn now at the plate. It's 1-0. Misses outside again. 2-0. I'm not sure that first pitch was called a ball, but I'm going to stick with... Yeah, no, it wasn't. It's 1-1. That's what I thought. Okay. The 1-1 pitch from Brown. Swing and a miss on a curveball low and away. 1-2. So the Cardinals with 2 outs today are 5 for 8 with all 4 of their RBIs. The Cubs just have 1 2-out hit on the day. That's why the Cardinals lead 4-1. A couple of big homers from their lefties. As Wynn takes a curveball low, it's 2-2. So lefty on the mound, big lefty hits for the Redbirds. Nobody on, 2 outs, 4-1 lead. Mason Wynn at the plate. Here's the 2-2 pitch from Brown. Cued the other way, foul, still 2-2. Mason Wynn does have 2 home runs on the season if he wants to join the party. But as I was looking at Brown's stats, it just looked like the best way to beat him was just barrel the ball, and that's what the Cardinals have done. 2-2 pitch is upstairs, 3-2. Obviously, that's the best way to beat every pitcher. But with Brown, there's no work in the count. You just have to look for your pitch and keep swinging. And that's why his pitch count is so low. The Cardinals just continue to swing. As here's a chopper foul, still 3-2. Starting to climb a little bit as of the last couple of innings, as the Cardinals start to get to him. But they've been swinging away all game. It led to a first couple of innings that were happening pretty quickly, as Wynn takes ball 4 outside for another base runner. So with Mason Wynn on first, that's going to bring up Alec Burleson. And you can see what I was talking about. That's his 21st pitch of the 5th. He threw 21 in the 4th as well, but threw 12 or less in the first 3 innings. So Brown is going to have a discussion with the pitching coach now, as the Cubs begin to think about going to the bullpen against Burleson. But it looks like they won't be doing that. So Burleson probably still facing Ben Brown. But yeah, the good news for the Cubs is Brown is good at attacking the zone. So if he can just get even better as far as locating and commanding his stuff, he could be a really effective pitcher in this league, because there's no other way to get to him other than just sticking in there, swinging the bat, and hitting his stuff hard. A lot of guys will have command problems, but he seems to have a really good command at putting the ball in the zone, and he doesn't lose that. So he could develop, but just has that tendency to get hit hard so far in his big league career. So Burleson will step up to the plate here. They did take a quick check at first base, but nothing doing with Mason Wynn there. 2 outs, Wynn on first, 4-1 lead for the Cardinals. Here's the first pitch to Burleson. It's driven high in the air to right field, and gone. A 3-run home run. Sorry, the 3rd home run for the Cardinals by their lefties, a 2-run homer. Oh my goodness gracious. The left-handed hitters continue to get to Ben Brown. It is 6-1 St. Louis. My bad on that call. Not my best of the year, but fastball up and away. Burleson turned on it, absolutely barreled it. It is 6-1 St. Louis. Same exact spot every time, just can't throw that inside fastball to the lefties. And Burleson loves them at the top of the zone, so you just can't make that pitch. It's a bad pitch from Brown, and he got the result he deserved on that one. 6-1 Redbirds. It is 0-1 on Contreras. The 0-1 pitch. Smoked out to left field by Contreras for a base hit. That was a fastball at the bottom of the zone. Contreras just turned on it. And now Ben Brown is throwing batting practice. He's probably going to have to be removed from this one pretty soon. It's going to bring up Lars Nootbaar, who homered against Brown his last time up. He could continue the chain of 2-run homers by left-handed hitters. He had a 2-run home run last inning. 2 outs with Contreras on first. The pitch from Brown. Low and in with the curveball, 1-0. So now I think Brown is probably just trying to save his bullpen for the later games in this series. He's only thrown 74 pitches, so you understand why the Cubs are leaving him in with a 5-run deficit. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Nootbaar in a 6-1 ball game. That one's grounded to second, and the play is made by Horner. But 4 runs on 2 homers by Burleson and Donovan. It is 6-1 Cardinals. Wow. What an inning. Right when the lefties needed to wake up, there they are. Biggest series of the year against the Cubs. And here they are. So we'll go, it's going to be Kyle Tucker. Tucker, obviously still one of the best players in baseball, but it's going to be difficult for a guy like him to make too much of a difference in the rest of this game, as the Cardinals lead by 5. You wonder where the Cardinals are going to go with their bullpen approach for the rest of this one. If we look, so Liberatore's at 58 pitches. You might want him to go 7, maybe even 8 in this game, if he can settle back in, because you have a big enough lead that you can pitch into a little bit of trouble and still be okay. We're going to pull up the Cardinal bullpen because I believe we just made a move to get rid of Graceffo. Yeah, so it's Roderick Munoz. He's the long reliever. So maybe Munoz could come into the game today. I think John King is a decent option to try to eat an inning, as long as the lead is still big enough. Because King, you don't really want him pitching in a super close game. Really, same thing with O'Brien and Munoz. So all of these guys, along with Liberatore eating a couple more innings, is probably how I would approach it. Feel free to leave a comment in the chat if you have an opinion on that, because I feel like that's kind of how the Cardinals have been managing it. Lefties all hitting homers. Nootbaar, Donovan, and Burleson have all hit 2-run home runs in this game. And now we have a lefty-lefty matchup to start the 6th. It is 6-1 Redbirds. Here's Kyle Tucker. Tucker is 0 for 2 so far in the game, yet to strike out in this one, though. First pitch is upstairs with the cutter, 1-0. Tucker is a guy who walks more than he strikes out. So that does huge things for his numbers. He has 15 homers on the year with a 917 OPS. The 1-0 pitch is up and away with the slider, 2-0. So that is the last thing you want here is walks. Liberatore's approach should change to attacking the zone. You can't give away free base runners. The 2-0 pitch to Tucker. Right down the middle, ground ball. Easy play for Contreras, and that is out number 1. That's what you're looking for from Liberatore. Just attack the zone. Make them beat you with the bat. Back in the 5th inning, which is last inning, Arenado turned a huge double play to Brendan Donovan to end the Cub threat prior to those 2 huge homers for the Cardinals. So that was the big swing inning in the game. Definitely that 5th inning. As Liberatore misses outside with the curveball, it's 1-0. When you have a huge lead like this, you have a 5-run lead. There are innings where a walk is as good as a homer, and specifically the 9th, but really any inning when you have a big lead. For the opposing team, they're just trying to stack base runners because one homer could turn all of those base runners into runs. So if you have the lead, you really want to attack the zone. Try to avoid giving up base runners. So Liberatore being down 2-0 here is not good. 2-0 pitch gets the call at the top of the zone with the cutter. It's 2-1. That was a favorable call from the umpire there. Liberatore at pitch number 65 on the day. Here's the 2-1 to Suzuki. Right down the middle, popped foul, 2-2. Obviously, this is the top of a really good order, so you can't always put the ball in the zone, but from a general strategy perspective, you just can't have walks. The 2-2 pitch to Suzuki. Swing and a miss on a slider at the top of the zone. Down goes Suzuki, and there are 2 down in the 6th. So now, Liberatore is settling back in. That was a great pitch. And that will bring up Dansby Swanson. The other thing is Liberatore is one of the lowest walk rates in baseball, so in some sense I'm preaching to the choir with these in the zone statistics as Dansby Swanson throws one up and fouls one up and away. It is 0-1. Liberatore has only thrown 9 pitches this inning. He threw 18 last inning, but he's thrown 13 or less in every other inning. So Liberatore keeping it efficient so far. Missed up and away with a fastball there. It's 1-1. With a defense like the Cardinals have behind you, it's almost impossible to blow a lead without any walks over the rest of the game. So you just got to keep attacking the zone, and that's what Liberatore's doing. As he misses inside with a curveball there, 2-1. This is going to be the 70th pitch of the game from Matthew Liberatore. The 2-1 to Swanson. Right down the middle, driven high in the air to center, but Scott can range over and make a running grab, and he does. So we go to the bottom of the 6th. It is 6-1 Cardinals. Great job by Liberatore, an efficient 1-2-3 inning there. So we won't have to think about the bullpen for a little while, outside of the Cubs at least. So from the Cubs bullpen perspective, I mean, Flexen could definitely, well, not yet. He pitched yesterday, he threw 34, so he's probably not pitching today. So Michael Fulmer out of AAA is a guy you might expect to see later in this game. He was in AAA just yesterday, so you can expect Fulmer at some point today. So we'll just pull up Fulmer's numbers just in case. They might just stick with the starter, but probably not. 2.25 whip. Geez, that's a pretty bad season. He only pitched in one game. So we'll go to a more complete season. 58 games in 2023. This is what he was back then. I mean, not too bad. -1 pitching run value. Kept the balls soft. Struck out a good number. Pretty high walk rate, which isn't great. And he didn't keep it on the ground, so that is what probably got him. Can't walk anybody, and then the baseballs end up with good launch angles against you. But not terrible. I mean, 1.33 whip, 4.42 ERA, that's what got him sent down. But the soft contact, decent strikeout rate could be worse. I think Fulmer might deserve a shot. I believe he was with the Tigers not too long ago. And then he was about average in 2022. But I'm sure the managers in baseball took a good look at him. So his stuff may have degraded a little bit more as he's gotten older. Anyway, is Ben Brown still on the mound? Yes, he is. So Brown misses outside against Arenado. It's 1-0. Arenado is 1 for 2, had a single back in the second, right after that Nootbaar homer. So it's 1-1. First pitch after that stat is in there. It's 1-2 now on Arenado. So Arenado does have 10 homers on the year. Brown at 79 pitches. The 1-2 is in the dirt, 2-2. Arenado is hitting 198 with 2 strikes this year, which is 28 points above league average, which is 170. It's the bottom of the 6th. The Cardinals have a 5-run lead against the Cubs. Ben Brown trying to labor through one more inning. And he has a 2-2 count against Arenado here. Here's the 2-2. Slider pulled fair down the left field line. Arenado's probably not going to be able to make it to second. And he will hold up at first. So that's a spot a lot of guys will turn that into a double, but Arenado not the fastest player on the roster. Barely kept it fair down that third base line. What a job. Spinning that one down the line for a base hit. So one man on with nobody out. That's going to bring up Nolan Gorman. Gorman is 0 for 2 today with 1 strikeout as he drives one into the air in center field, high and deep and gone. Every single lefty with a 2-run bomb except for Victor Scott. And it is 8-1 Cardinals in the 6th. So Arenado comes around to score. It is the Nolan package on that one. Gorman and Arenado. 8-1 lead. Ben Brown now has an ERA over 6. It was a fastball right down the middle at the bottom of the zone. Gorman turned on that. That's the pitch that you want to see if you're Gorman. And as I said early in the game, you can't keep throwing him that fastball. Eventually he'll turn on one. And he did it there. So with an 8-1 lead, that brings up Pedro Pajes. And that will do it for Ben Brown. So we'll see who they're getting ready. It's Michael Fulmer. So there you go. The Fulmer numbers are going to come in handy. 8-1 Cardinals. So Michael Fulmer, a 2.25 whip so far this year. You don't expect that to continue. But back in 2022, he was about league average. Looks like he's just going to come in and eat up some innings here. Try to get that ERA below 10. Walk rate at 10.1% back in 2022. So, I mean, he never really kept that walk rate low enough. Was it double digits his whole career? Jeez. Okay. He was really good in 16. Tigers always have good pitching, it seems like. Was still good throughout all of the 2010s. But then he spent a year off in 2019. Struggled during the pandemic. Got it back in 2021. And then since then, it's been double-digit walk rate, and that has been eating him up. So, it is what it is. Fulmer, good big league career. Whether or not he reestablishes himself. All right, so Fulmer on the mound. Now we can go ahead and take it easy for the rest of this one. It's a 7-run lead. We'll see if Pajes can reach base for the first... Well, he's already reached base, but can get a hit for the first time today. He's 0 for 1 with a walk. As Fulmer misses low, it's 1-0. One of the main problems for Fulmer over the last couple seasons he spent in the big leagues is a high walk rate, so hopefully he can put him in the zone for his sake, but he misses way outside there. It's 2-0 on Pajes. Pedro Pajes scored a run on the Brendan Donovan homer. The 2-0 pitch right down the middle, smoked out to left field for a base hit. So Fulmer gives up a single, and it's another hit for the Cardinals. Everybody has a hit except for Mason Wynn, who has a walk. So every Cardinal has reached base in the game today. They lead 8-1. That'll bring up Victor Scott II, who is 1 for 2. Not a fun game from the Cubs' perspective. Here's the first pitch to Scott. Right down the middle, pulled foul. It's 0-1. You can see Craig Counsell boiling with frustration. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Fulmer to Scott. Up and in, swing and a miss. With the cutter, it's 0-2. Seems like Fulmer has the potential to still pitch at the big league level, but pretty high walk rate. The stuff isn't as good as it was when he was younger. But he's only 32. The 0-2 pitch now to Victor Scott. Pulled over to second base. A flip to Dansby, who makes the turn for a double play. So a ground ball double play from Victor Scott will send us to the top of the order with 2 outs and nobody on. So that'll bring up Brendan Donovan, who had a long home run his last time up. 20-degree launch angle. 109 off the bat for a 393-foot bomb. First pitch from Fulmer to Donovan. Just upstairs, but gets the call. 0-1. Nice cutter from Fulmer there. Cardinals with 2 outs today are 7 for 11 with 6 home runs. I mean, six RBIs. Feels like 6 home runs, but it's only 4. Here is the 1-1 pitch from Fulmer to Donovan. Driven in the air to center. That one high and deep and caught. A robbery by Pete Crow Armstrong. Prevents the second homer of the day from Donovan. And we go to the 7th. It is 8-1. So a home run robbery with no excitement behind it. Great play from Armstrong. Sucks for Donovan, but at the end of the day, still 8-1. So Liberatore will be right back out here. Trying to eat a couple more innings here. He's at 70 pitches. Crow Armstrong's due up first, so that's pretty cool. You can you just saw all of his traits in action. He's already barreled up a double. Has those 9 outs above average in center field. Just robbed a home run. I guess we haven't seen the stolen bases yet. So maybe he can do that as he's due up first in this upcoming inning. So this is a nice spot for the Cardinals to be in with a guy like Liberatore on the mound, because he can probably eat up 2 more innings. Get you through 8 with a very low walk rate when you have a big lead. And then you'll only need to throw your reliever for 1 inning. That's going to be probably Munoz. And you pretty much have the full bullpen available for the next 3 against the Cubs. Oh my goodness, Pete Crow Armstrong lobs one out to left field for extra bases. And that's going to be a double. That one had to have a very low expected batting average, but somehow he found the spot in the outfield where it was extra bases. He spun that one off the end of the bat to left. Nootbaar was playing him more towards center field. So there was no one out there to catch that ball, and Crow Armstrong has a double. So some more of his speed is shown there. Man on second with nobody out. Liberatore now pitching to Carson Kelly. First pitch to Kelly. Right down the middle. Strike 1. Carson Kelly is 2 for 2 in the game today. Has 9 home runs on the year. He's played a great catching position so far this season. The 0-1 pitch from Liberatore. Missed just inside with the cutter, 1-1. Kelly was a Cardinal and a Diamondback prior to becoming a Cub. Here's the 1-1 pitch from Liberatore. Right down the middle with the curveball. It's 1-2. The Brewers are mounting a comeback against the Pirates. It's 4-4 in that one in the 5th inning. So that's bad news for Cardinal fans. The Reds are also beating the Yankees. It's also bad news for Cubs fans. The 1-2 pitch pulled over to short. Mason Wynn looks back the runner. Makes a good throw over to first for out number 1. So good pitch from Liberatore there. And that will bring up Nico Hoerner. Hoerner is 1 for 2 on the day. Had a base hit up the middle earlier in the game. Liberatore at pitch number 76 in this one. First pitch, two-horner. Right down the middle for a strike. So Liberatore is attacking the zone. He really gets it when you have a big lead. This is how you bring down your season ERA, maintain the lead, and save your bullpen. Just throw a lot of innings attacking the zone. The 0-1 to Horner. That one smoked out to left field for a base hit. Nootbaar is going to run in and play it off the ground, but he's going to end up just throwing it over to second base. Crow Armstrong decided not to go home, so that explains that throw from Nootbaar, as it was a very shallow base hit, and it was hit just hard enough that Crow Armstrong wasn't going to score. So runners at the corners with one out. If you are Liberatore, you really don't worry about the man on third here. Just try to get these next two outs without any further base runners. Justin Turner is 0 for 2 so far in the game. Not a very fast runner. Here's the first pitch. Just upstairs with the fastball, 1-0. That one did clip the top of the strike zone, but you know, sometimes the zone on the screen isn't the one that the umpire is using. That is what it is. The 1-0 pitch from Liberatore is low and in with the slider, 2-0. So Turner with a 364 average on the year, with runners in scoring position. Yet to hit a homer in a spot like this, just one home run on the year in general. The 2-0 pitch from Liberatore. Driven in the air to center field. Victor Scott gets a great jump once again, makes the grab. And Crow Armstrong's going to come in to score. It is 8-2, Cardinals now in the 7th. So a little bit of noise from the Cubs fans in the crowd. And the Cardinals lead is cut to 6. So that will bring up Matt Shaw. Shaw is 0 for 1 with a walk so far in the game today. So 2 outs with a man on first. The first pitch from Liberatore to Shaw is low and in, bounces away from Pajes. The runner tries to... No, he didn't. Ended up going back to first, so Pajes might have overreacted on that pitch. Either way, he did make a throw over to first, and the runner was able to get back. So no damage done there. So 2 outs, man on first. 1-0 count on Matt Shaw. Shaw, the Cubs' third baseman. One of their top prospects coming into the season. Hasn't panned out perfectly, but he's developing. Fouls that fastball back. 1-1. Cardinals-Cubs, one of the best rivalries in the sport. Usually you get close games. It's rare that you'll have a big lead like this without some drama. The 1-1. Puts the changeup in the dirt. It's 2-1. Liberatore's pitch count getting a little bit high here. You wouldn't be surprised if the Cardinals go ahead and go to Munoz for the 8th. But Liberatore is going to be throwing the 84th pitch of the game here. The 2-1 to Shaw. Just low with the cutter. It's 3-1. The other reason is Liberatore is starting to miss the zone and get hit a little bit harder. Cubs have seen him 3 times through the order now. And he's starting to miss the zone a little bit more often. The 3-1 pitch to Shaw. Ground ball over to short. Mason Wynn with the flip, and we're out of it. So 8-2 Cardinals. The Cubs do get 1 run back in the 7th, but the Cardinals still lead by 6. It'll be Wynn, Burleson, and Contreras in the bottom half. All right, so let me scroll this back up. And look at, well, it's going to be Fulmer, so we don't even have to look at any of that. Just pull up Mason Wynn. It's a 6-run lead. Let's look at some Cubs bullpen usage from the last few days. They did use a good number of bullpen members on Saturday, but they only used Flexen yesterday. So with Fulmer being their guy today, who's probably going to eat up the rest of this game, they'll still have most of their bullpen as well for this series. And from the Cardinal perspective, Leahy was used in yesterday's game, but he will not pitch today, so everybody's going to be available tomorrow. So it's going to be a really fun series in games 2, 3, and 4. Anything else we can look at? I'm not too sure. I mean, it's still going to be Fulmer. Cardinals could go to Barrero. Try to get some of these guys off their feet prior to this Cubs series, but they already went to Barrero in yesterday's game, so it's really looks like they're going to stick with this lineup, and I agree with that, to be honest. 6-run lead, I mean, I've seen comebacks greater than that, and I've seen a 6-run comeback in the playoffs, so it's very possible, but very unlikely at this stage in the game. So here we go. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Fulmer going to be facing Mason Wynn, Alec Burleson, and Wilson Contreras. First pitch from Fulmer to Wynn. He is low and away, fouled off, 0-1. Nice cutter from Fulmer there. Wynn, the only Cardinal without a hit in the game so far. Did have a walk and a run scored on the Burleson homer. The 0-1 pitch. Outside 1-1. Here's the 1-1 from Fulmer. Low and away cutter, popped up. Play at second. Caught by Horner. That's out number 1. That will bring up Alec Burleson. Burleson obviously hit that 2-run home run his last time up. It was just a fastball at the top of the zone, the exact pitch you don't want to throw to Alec Burleson. We saw, about a week ago, he hit one that was at his chin level. So anything upstairs he can get to, as he takes a cutter up and in for a strike, it's 0-1. Ironically, this is the Honda home run inning, so Cardinals probably should have saved one for the 7th to help out the Make-A-Wish Foundation, as Burleson takes a sinker below the zone. It's 1-1. Maybe Burleson still has another one in him. The 1-1 to Burleson. Pulled fair down the first base line, but a diving stop made by Turner for out number 2. So great play by Justin Turner there. 2 down, and that'll bring up Wilson Contreras. Contreras is 2 for 3 in the game today. He's scored a run. Contreras was able to score on the Lars Nootbaar homer. Feels like I'm saying that about every righty. And then I'm just saying every lefty hit a 2-run home run because that's basically what happened. First pitch to Contreras, check swing. No, he did not. It's 1-0. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Contreras. Right down the middle, fouled back, 1-1. The Pirates have taken a 5-4 lead over the Brewers. In case anyone is paying attention over there. I think it's too early to really be looking at that, but it's a 6-run ball game. Here's the 1-1 to Contreras. Driven in the air to left center. That one high and deep and bounces off the wall. It's going to be the second double of the day for Contreras. He is 3 for 4. So Contreras and Crow Armstrong going back-to-back with doubles. And that's going to bring up Lars Nootbaar. That one was just right down the middle. I mean, just a rough pitch from Fulmer, right where Contreras wanted it. He did not miss that one. Here's the pitch to Nootbaar. Upstairs, 1-0. That cutter caught the zone. It's 1-1. Nootbaar obviously hit a 2-run bomb earlier, as you could say for Donovan, Burleson, Nootbaar, and Gorman. And here's the 1-1 from Fulmer. Popped up. That'll be playable. In left field for Happ. He's going to make the call and the grab. We go to the 8th. It is 8-2 Cardinals in St. Louis over the Cubs. It's going to be Happ, Tucker, and Seiya, and I think Liberatore is probably done. Just go ahead and get him some rest. Doesn't need to go to 100 pitches. You have Munoz available, so I'm going to go ahead and get Roderi's numbers pulled up. Hasn't been fantastic, but pretty good strikeout rate. Good fastball velo. The walk rate at 11.5 is a little frightening with a big lead. Probably don't want to risk too much of that, but 11.5% is not 20%. So there's levels to that statistic. Happ, Tucker, Seiya. I mean, it'd be nice if Liberatore could go one more, but I think he was starting to lose a little bit of his command, and he went 7 innings. You can just pitch Munoz for at least 3 hitters, see how he looks. In worst case scenario, you have to use one more reliever, which should be, John King. I mean, the other thing is, I don't know if Happ is better on the right or left side, so we could take a look at that. If he's better on the right, on the left, then it'd probably be good to just go to King right now. So I'll take a quick look. So JC, I'll just replace the JC real fast. We want to see Ian Happ's splits against each side of the mound. So here we go, the platoon splits. 8-17 against righties, 7-18 against lefties. So you want him to face a lefty, so that's good. So yeah, you could just go to John King right now. I would probably do King, but if you want King in a close game sometimes, like maybe he has a good matchup specifically against Happ or something like that, then maybe you want him in a closer game and you go to Munoz. Cardinals do Riley O'Brien. So, that's the third option. Makes sense as well. O'Brien's been a little bit better as far as command than Munoz. Munoz might be the guy they're using for if they're down by a lot. While O'Brien is way more likely to protect a lead because he throws more strikes. The 0-1 is pulled foul. It's 0-2 on Happ. So his whip at just 1.08. He's been pretty good. Has given up 2 homers, but you don't care that much about that when you're up by 6. The low whip is a great stat for this spot. The 0-2 pitch is up and away with the sinker. It's 1-2. So O'Brien makes a lot of sense. It actually makes perfect sense from Ollie here. Obviously, you'd love to have a lefty face Happ and Tucker, but it is what it is. The 1-2 pitch. Hit the other way, foul. Still 1-2. O'Brien is ready. The 1-2 pitch to Happ. Pulled foul once again. So a good at bat from Happ. It's going to be at least 6 pitches from O'Brien, making O'Brien work potentially. Could affect the Cardinals if the Cubs absolutely smash them in one of these games and they have to go to both long relievers. But the Cardinals are hoping that doesn't happen. Here's the 1-2 from O'Brien. Low and in, 2-2. That curveball hit the dirt well below, reaching Ian Happ. Happ grounded into a very close double play in his last at-bat. Also has a ground out and a strikeout. The 2-2 pitch from O'Brien to Happ. Driven in the air to right center, but it's going to be caught by Burleson. Nice angle by Burleson there. That pitch just not quite hit hard enough by Happ. So that's going to bring up Kyle Tucker. Tucker is 0 for 3 in the game today. Hitting .282 on the year with a .915 OPS. Double-digit homers. Actually, I don't know if he has his 10th yet. I think he has 10. It might have 9. Actually, he might have even more than that. I don't even remember. First pitch. Swing and a miss. Okay, it's 15. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, Tucker, one of the best players in baseball. Obviously, he hit more home runs when he was in Houston, but that's because they have that short portion left. Not a super deep right field either. Don't have unpredictable wind. As the curveball catches the bottom of the zone, it's 0-2. Although the wind can help you sometimes. There are games when the wind is blowing out and anyone can hit a homer. But O'Brien way ahead in the count here. The 0-2 to Tucker. Way up and away with the sinker. It's 1-2. O'Brien trying to just get through these last 2 innings, save the rest of the bullpen. The 1-2 to Tucker is taken low and in with the slider, 2-2. Really great job by Matthew Liberatore today. Just gave up a couple of runs. Got through the innings he needed to with 7 innings pitched. It's a fantastic quality outing from Liberatore. Here's the 2-2 to Tucker. Missed just outside with the slider. It's 3-2. The other thing I really like that I've seen out of Liberatore is he's not afraid to put the ball in the zone in those close counts with some base runners on because he knows the defense he has behind him has his back. As here's the 3-2 from O'Brien. In the zone, a great slider low and away, popped out to left field. Nootbaar makes the call and the catch, 2 outs. And that will bring up Seiya Suzuki. Suzuki is 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts in the game. Has an .843 OPS. The first 4 hitters of the Cubs all have no hits in the game today. And Suzuki will break that right here. A base hit to right. It was a sinker up and away. Just put the barrel on it. Didn't try to do too much. Lofted it out to right for the first hit of his game. It was just the first pitch from O'Brien. Good attack mode swing from Suzuki. And that will bring up Dansby Swanson. Swanson is 0 for 3 with 1 strikeout in the game today. We did look at his numbers earlier and figure out that the strikeout rate is the number one thing hurting him so far this year, as he takes strike 1 at the bottom of the zone with the slider. 0-1. Swanson has 39 RBIs on the year, so he could reach 40 with a ball in the gap. The 0-1 from O'Brien is up and in with the sinker, 1-1. Six-run lead only becomes scary if you give up another base runner here, so hopefully O'Brien just finds the zone and we don't have to worry about it. The 1-1 is way downstairs with the sinker. It's 2-1. Dansby does have 14 bombs on the season. The 2-1 is fouled off. It's 2-2. So 2 outs, 2-2 count on Swanson. Riley O'Brien on the mound for the Cardinals. Trying to get through a couple of innings to end off this one. If he can get this out, the Cardinals will definitely not need to use a closer in the game, which obviously saves Helsley. Saves all of the close game relievers. And allows the Cardinals to have a really good long-term approach over these next 3 games, which are all huge for the division. The 2-2 pitch to Swanson. Right down the middle, ground ball to short. Mason Wynn with the flip, and we are through 8. So nice easy flip to Donovan. Sends us to the bottom half. It is 8-2. Cardinals midway through the 8th. So we'll just pull up O'Brien's numbers, as we're likely to still be seeing Fulmer from the Cubs. And yeah, he's an above-average pitcher this season. Gets a lot of ground balls. Walk rate is below league average, which is nice at 8.3. Doesn't strike out a whole lot of hitters, but he has the Cardinal defense behind him. So that produces this set of numbers. Pretty good. And I will be right back. Alrighty. So we'll see if the game is back real quick. Not quite yet. All right, it looks like it's going to be coming back. And Ryan Brazier came in the game for the Cubs. He is a right-handed pitcher with a 1.18 ERA, a 1.93... Sorry, the other way around. 1.93 ERA, 1.18 whip. Very low barrel rate. Strange to me that they would go to him here and not just stick with Fulmer, but here we go. First pitch to Arenado, swing and a miss. On a slider low and away, it's 0-1. Has thrown 18 pitches in the last 3 days, so he might not be able to pitch tomorrow. Misses just upstairs with the sinker, it's 1-1. Arenado is 2 for 3 today. Came around to score on the Gorman homer. The 1-1. Inside, pulled foul. It's 1-2. Ooh, getting late in this one. Just one more inning of baseball left to play. The Cubs have put in Brujan at center field and John Birdie at second base. As Arenado drives one out to right field, Tucker will make the grab for out number 1. So the Cubs with a couple defensive replacements to get Crow, Armstrong, and Horner off their feet, some of their best defensive players. Nolan Gorman is 1 for 3. He's getting another chance to swing the bat here. Had a 2-run home run earlier. First pitch. Up and in, popped up. Right field. That might and will get into the seats. It's 0-1. Some of the coaches telling the infielders where to play against Gorman. It's weird seeing that on the fly. Here's the 0-1. Pulled foul, 0-2. Usually they have like little sheets telling them where to play, right? So it's funny seeing the coach having him scoot over. But either way, it's 0-2 on Gorman with just 1 out in the 8th. 7th pitch of the game for Brazier. Just up and away with the fastball, 1-2. So Gorman, we were talking about getting his barrel rate back. Well, he barreled one today. Absolutely smoked that homer. The 1-2 from Brazier. Low and in with the cutter, 2-2. The 2-2 pitch now to Gorman. Caught the outside corner with the slider. That's strike 3. Down goes Gorman. So 2 outs, nobody on. It's going to bring up Pedro Pajes. So it looks like the Cardinals are well on their way to a Game 1 victory here. Really across the board, this is exactly what you want to see from the entirety of the roster. Can't complain so far. After a pretty rough game against the Reds yesterday, Pajes takes a strike right down the middle. It's 0-1. They're pitching him backwards. Put the slider down the middle first. See what they do with the second pitch. Another slider. That one outside. He chased that. It's 0-2. Ivan Herrera on the IL. He's going to be there for a little while. Let me see the return date estimate for Herrera. Here's the 0-2. Driven out to left field, but easily playable. Happ makes the grab. We go to the 9th. It is 8-2 Cardinals. So I expect O'Brien to still be on the mound. We already kind of looked at this, but maybe more specifically. Yeah, he puts it in the zone, doesn't give up barrels, keeps the ball on the ground, doesn't strike out a whole lot of hitters. But if you're getting soft contact, putting it in the zone with a good defense behind you, that's pretty good results. And then who is the Cubs? It's going to be Brujan, Kelly, and Birdie. So a couple of pinch hitters who they just put in to play defense. So that makes sense. You go ahead and get these guys some swings, some time in the field. Just keep them active because they're on the bench for the Cubs in case they ever need a pinch hitter. All right, so Herrera is out until July 4th at the very least, so that's not great. He's going to be out at least a week and a half from today. John Birdie, I believe he was a huge stolen base guy. When was that? 2022? 97th percentile sprint speed. I think it was 2022. He's a former Marlin. That's when he was getting all those stolen bags. We also have Brujan. He'll be hitting in the 9th. Vidal Brujan, a nice third baseman. Birdie is also a third baseman as far as this is listed. Not a whole lot going on for him hitting the baseball this year, a 427 OPS. He had a higher sample last season, so let's see what that looked like. So you can see why they wanted him. A below league average walk rate. An above league average walk rate and a below league average strikeout rate. So, wait, did I say that again? No, wait. Yeah, below league average strikeout rate, above league average walk rate. So he gets on base. That's what I'm trying to say. Makes pitchers throw pitches. Can draw a walk. 303 on base. I mean, that's not great. But with the contact stats being as bad as they are, also not a great fielder. I don't know. I mean, he's a bench player, but they wanted him for this walk rate. You can tell. You just bring him in, long at bat as a pinch hitter over like Nico Horner or something like that. Who knows? Okay. He is at the plate now. It's 0-1. A good pitch from Munoz, but he's ready to throw the second. The 0-1 is outside with the slider, 1-1. So the Cardinals are going to use both O'Brien and Munoz in the game. The rationale from Marmol is probably just get them both some action in case they don't get any more action in this series. And also O'Brien in the 8th, just to make sure the game stays close. While Munoz, kind of the wild card, you can pitch him in the 9th because you have a big enough lead. That makes sense as well. The 2-1 pitch to Brujan here. Ground ball up the middle. Nice play by Donovan. And the play is made. So they had Brujan listed as the first hitter. That was not Brujan, that was Birdie. So out number 1 was John Birdie. It's going to be Kelly and then Brujan. So whoever does the MLB scoreboard, switch those guys. But either way, Birdie is out. Here comes Carson Kelly. Kelly is 2 for 3. He has an RBI and has yet to strike out today. First pitch from Munoz to Kelly. Fouled off. That was 96 right at the bottom of the zone. 0-1. I guess you also don't know whether O'Brien or Munoz is going to be needed in the rest of this series. Like if you're winning by a lot, again, you're probably going to want O'Brien. And if you're losing by a lot at any point, you're probably going to want to have Munoz. So it's just 2 guys that you can pitch here. The 0-1 missed low and away with the slider. It's 1-1. This also gives you the opportunity to use O'Brien in a couple of days. Same thing with Munoz. They both have low pitch counts today, so you could use them for short-term usage tomorrow or long usage in a couple of days. Here's the 1-1 to Kelly. Missed just outside with the sinker, 2-1. Munoz has a 9 ERA so far this season. Trying to bring that down to something more reasonable. The 2-1 pitch. Missed low and away with the cutter. It's 3-1. So this is what I was saying about the walk rate. Munoz does have a pretty high walk rate, above 11. And when you have a lead in the 9th, every walk is basically a home run for the other team, as the 3-1 misses downstairs, and that's ball 4. So if you think about it from a game perspective, obviously you could have a ground ball double play. That's the only way that this wouldn't be true. And ground ball double plays are pretty rare. So if you exclude the double plays, Kelly walking in the 9th, when they're down by multiple runs, until the tying run steps up to the plate, any walk or base hits or double or home run has the same impact on the game. It's just another runner that could score if the next guy drives them in. So a walk just can't happen in the 9th inning with a big lead, in my opinion. You just have to attack the zone. So it's not a huge deal after the first one, but if Munoz walks another guy, I would just go straight to the bullpen because that game is starting to get losable. Here's the 0-1 to Brujan. Low and in, somehow gets a swing on a cutter. It's 0-2. So Brujan chased one way out of the zone there. No chance that was going to be close to the zone. And now the 0-2 pitch from Munoz to Brujan. He is in the dirt. No, he did not. 1-2. Brujan hitting 167 this season. Not a whole lot of sample size. For a 427 OPS. Here's the 1-2 from Munoz. Slider in the dirt. It's 2-2. So here you just have to put it in the zone. Munoz is borderline big league level. He sometimes gets pulled up from AAA, sometimes doesn't. Here's the 2-2 to Brujan. Inside, pulled, foul. Still 2-2. Cardinals playing Brujan to pull. Donovan in that pull spot on the infield. Here's the 2-2 pitch from Munoz. Ground ball, still foul. So a good at-bat from Brujan, making Munoz throw a lot of pitches. I figured they would just stick with O'Brien, but Cardinals do have a lot of members of the bullpen who could close this out if Munoz can't. Here's the 2-2 to Brujan. Right down the middle, driven out to center field, playable for Victor Scott. He'll make the grab for out number 2. And that will bring up Justin Turner. So Munoz will get plenty of chances to get this final out. Justin Turner is 0 for 2. Did have an RBI earlier in the game. That was, I believe, a sac fly to center field. The crowd in St. Louis is on their feet, making some noise for Munoz. The first pitch to Turner. Ground ball. Mason Wynn with the flip, and the Cardinals win it 8-2 in Game 1 against the Cubs. Just a great game from the entirety of the Cardinal order. Everybody had a hit except for Wynn. Everybody in the lineup reached base. Most of them reached base multiple times. And a home run from every lefty besides Victor Scott. Bunch of 2-run homers gives the Cardinals an 8-2 win. We'll see you guys tomorrow with a chance to add another one. Have a wonderful night.